Good evening, you're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Faye Kwan. Firefighters have extinguished a fire at Putra Heights, caused earlier today by a leak at a Petronas gas pipeline. More than 300 residents in the surrounding area have been evacuated and relocated. But the Selangor Fire and Rescue Department has urged anyone with missing family members in the affected area to contact their command centre to verify in case there are any individuals that were left behind. The fire, which broke out at 8:10 a.m., saw flames reaching 30 meters in height and temperatures of 1,000 degrees Celsius. The valve on the burning pipeline, spanning 500 meters, was shut off, but residual gas had kept the flame alive for hours. Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said a total of 145 people have been affected by the fire, with 67 sent to hospitals, including Cyberjaya, Ampang and Putrajaya, due to second-degree burns, respiratory issues and other injuries, while another 49 victims received treatment at a medical base set up at the Sri Maha Kaliaman Temple. The blaze has also damaged at least 200 houses and more than 300 vehicles due to the extreme heat. At the same time, a relief centre at Putra Heights Mosque was activated to accommodate affected residents. Firefighters have begun neutralising works as harmful elements from the explosion may have entered homes, posing an ongoing fire risk. Households destroyed by the gas pipeline fire in Putra Heights, Subang Jaya, will receive 5,000 ringgit in aid for temporary expenses. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, while visiting the site today, says the federal government, Selangor government and Petronas will also be responsible for repairing and rebuilding the damaged properties.
Dan apakah tindakan terperinci? Itu tentunya saya minta semua jentera kerajaan termasuk KPKT itu adakan rapat sekarang untuk memberikan cadangan dan wakil-wakil penduduk bangsa diundang untuk berbincang bersama. Tapi untuk langkah segera dalam 1-2 hari ini, Petronas dan kalau perlu Kerajaan Persekutuan akan lihat perlu menambah akan menyediakan bagi rumah-rumah yang rosak sepenuhnya itu diberikan RM5,000 segera supaya mereka dapat belanja sementara, dan yang mana yang terkesan itu yang 100 lebih lagi itu RM2,500. Tapi yang lain itu kita akan kerah seluruh jentera kemudahan tempat tinggal yang lebih baik, itu sedang direncanakan.
It takes 58 minutes of labour for low-wage earners in Malaysia to afford a litre of milk, compared to just 4 minutes in the Netherlands. That's according to a University Malaya study on food affordability in Malaysia. Here to dissect the findings is Director of the Social Wellbeing Research Centre, Professor Datuk Norma Mansor.
While Malaysia benefits from relatively low food prices due to open trade and also government subsidies, but low wages and income inequality continue to limit many households' ability to afford adequate and nutritious food. So in Malaysia, for instance, with the minimum wage in Malaysia, to afford a litre of milk, you will have to spend 58 minutes, whereas in the Netherlands, 4 minutes. For a kg of banana, you will have to spend 47 minutes working with your minimum wage, and in Germany, 5 minutes, whereas for chicken, 130 minutes in Malaysia and 28 minutes in Australia. So it is not, I know that the critics out there, when they look at our work, the criticism is that our prices are low. Definitely, we have benefited from the open market, the open trade, and also the subsidies and price control, that the prices are low. But on the other hand, for the 30% of the workforce that is in the low wage group, the issue of affordability is problematic or is of concern here.
Norma highlights Malaysia's low minimum wage compared to other countries, with many earning below 2/3 of the median wage. She proposes the setting up of a social protection floor and wage increases to improve food affordability in the country.
Number one is establishing the social protection floor. which can provide income security at critical stages of vulnerability, which would include children, the elderly, and person with disabilities. Yeah. So providing cash assistance, especially in order to face the increasing prices, food prices, will be one way that the one intervention that can come in to support the Malaysians household. And secondly is the food feeding programs, which can address both food affordability and also nutritional security by providing children with at least one healthy meal per day. And this would alleviate the food costs and also would improve the health outcomes and also the educational in terms of children going to school, being more attentive and all that. There are school feeding program in Malaysia, but it's not extensive and also the quality of food. So extending or expanding this what they call free food, or they call it makanan tambahan for Malaysian kids. And especially for those areas where there are many low-income earners live, will be one of the policy intervention. And thirdly is also to look at the minimum wage. So the automatic minimum wage, or also indexing to inflation, economic growth, and median wage is the way that the Minimum Wage Council, I'm in the council as well, in the Minimum Wage Council, that we can think about and consider in order for us to ensure that at least Malaysians can afford nutritious food that will bring out a lot of, will bring good health outcomes, and ensure that even when they are older, yeah, we're talking about aging society, even when they are older, they are healthier adults and not necessarily having to spend a lot on healthcare and long-term care.
We'll be back with more after the break. Stay tuned.
Dah cuba elak panas terik, tapi kulit kepala masih gatal dan berminyak. Mungkin ia kelemomo. Gunalah Head & Shoulders. Berkesan menghapuskan kelemomo sehingga 100% bebas kelemomo. Head & Shoulders.
Dimasak seikhlas rasa. Air tangan insan istimewa. Masak bersama Harmoni Raya. Dapatkan resepi inspirasi di Maggi.my. Kerap menggaru kulit kepala disebabkan kelomomor, masalahnya lebih mendalam. Gunalah Head & Shoulders menembusi 5 lapisan untuk membasmi kelomomor dan kegatalan. Bebas kelomomor sehingga 100%. Head & Shoulders diuji secara dermatologi.
Myanmar observed 1 minute of silence today to mourn those killed in last week's 7.7 magnitude earthquake. The death toll stands at over 2,700, with more than 4,500 injured and 441 missing. Rescue teams and grieving families stood in silence at 12:51 local time, the exact moment the quake struck on Friday, while sirens rang in the background as a mark of respect. As part of a week of national mourning, flags will be flown at half-mast for 5 days until April 6. The deadly earthquake was also felt in neighbouring countries such as Thailand, where the death toll has risen to 20. The United Nations warned that the disaster has compounded an already dire crisis in Myanmar, which is in the middle of a 4-year civil war. While the ruling military junta has appealed for aid and rescue support, the scale of the task appears overwhelming. Aid groups have raised concerns about disease outbreaks, and poor infrastructure and civil conflicts are hindering relief efforts. Despite the destruction in Mandalay, near the epicenter of the quake, there have been reports that the junta is still carrying out airstrikes against pro-democracy rebel groups. US President Donald Trump says he wants to see Russian President Vladimir Putin follow through and make a deal to end the war in Ukraine. Speaking to reporters inside the Oval Office, Trump said he doesn't want to have to move forward with secondary tariffs that he's previously threatened to impose on buyers of Russian oil if it can be avoided.
I want to see him make a deal so that we stop Russian soldiers and Ukrainian soldiers and other people from being killed. But mostly it's Russian and Ukrainian soldiers. They're losing at least 2,500 human beings, beautiful human beings, a week. And I wanted to stop. And some people would say, why do you worry about Russian soldiers or Ukrainian soldiers? I worry because it's like they're just like you people. They're like us. They're like all of us. And I seem to have an ability to do those things. And if I can do that, I think it's a very worthwhile thing to do. And I think we will. No, I want to make sure that he follows through, and I think he will. I don't want to go secondary tariffs on his oil, but I think, you know, it's something I would do if I thought he wasn't doing the job.
Greenland will strengthen its ties with Denmark until it can become a sovereign nation, according to the Arctic Islands' incoming Prime Minister. However, he tells Reuters that the semi-autonomous Danish territory ultimately wants to become independent. Jens Frederik Nielsen was sworn in as Prime Minister of Greenland on Friday and will lead a four-party coalition government amid challenges posed by US President Donald Trump's ambitions to control the island.
We are in the Kingdom of Denmark right now, and as long as we are in this construction, we need to build our relationship and build our partnership to get it stronger until the day we can be a sovereign nation by ourselves. So that's the point. We have a strong partnership with Denmark, and that's what we're gonna build on until the day we can be sovereign.
Meanwhile, he said Greenland wanted a partnership with the United States that was based on mutual respect.
First of all, I think it's very important to say that Greenland will never be part of America. Of course we want respect. We want a strong partnership. We want to trade. We want a strong partnership on national security, of course. But we want it in mutual respect. We will never be for sale, and we will never be Americans.
Taiwan's Defense Minister Wellington Koo says that the island's armed forces are closely monitoring Chinese military activities. These include the movements of China's Shandong aircraft carrier group off Taiwan's southeast. Koo also said that the Chinese People's Liberation Army should resolve corruption problems first, instead of destroying peace and stability in the region. Taiwan's armed forces have set up a response center to monitor Chinese military activities after China said it had begun joint army, navy and rocket force exercises around the island. The exercises around the democratically governed island, which China views as its own territory and has never renounced the use of force to bring under its control, come after Taiwan President Lai Ching-te called Beijing a foreign hostile force last month. Now that report wraps up AWANI Tonight. Check out our web portal, keeping you informed on the critical events shaping our world, all in one place at international.astroawani.com. That's all for now. I'm Faye Kwan. Thank you for watching and good night.